Hey y'all. Ooh, that looks a little bit crooked. Am I crooked? I got some new stuff. And I got these oil pastels. I just got the small box because I didn't know whether I'm gonna love this or not. And I also got these watercolor cards, so we're gonna open that up. Hey Teresa, got some oil pastels and some cards, and I'm gonna try like making homemade cards, but instead of doing it with like scrapbooking stuff, we're gonna paint it. So I'm gonna, let me make sure I can find me live on the, and there it is, on the tablet, and I'm gonna put in my link to the stuff that I'm going to be using, and I have Candy here with me today, so we're going to be there's the link. Cool. We're going to be both doing something different. So I'm going to open this real quick. It says Strathmore watercolor cards, paint with watercolor, acrylic, or I don't know how to pronounce that, gouache, and they're acid free, and there's 50 cards and 50 envelopes. So they look sort of an off-white, and they're kind of a thick paper. So normally when you're doing a watercolor, you tape this down to a board, because even with the thick paper like this, it can sort of warp and stuff. But we don't have a board today, and we just want to play real quick before Candy has to leave for the day. I put a link in there, Teresa, see where it says watercoloring supplies, and then I have a link for Amazon for the cards, and then one for the oil pastels. I did order it on Amazon, and I put the link to it on there. So I'm going to give Candy one, and then I guess they put them separate, because that must have been the top one, then envelopes. So they come whole like this, but there's like a scored area. You're probably not going to be able to see that, but there's a scored area right there in between. I'm going to fold it just because it's there, so I'll remember what's the front, but I'm going to leave it flat while I'm painting on it. And so now I'm going to bend this down to where y'all can see what I'm working on instead of me. But let me show you this first. Here's these. And I'm going to do like a spring thing on mine and just do some tulips. Oh, look, it does look like little crayons. And I hope these work how I want them to. And I'm going to just do the front side of mine, and my favorite color is purple, so I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take this yellow, and I'm going to take this brown, and I ain't leaving Candy much here. What are you going to put on yours? Do you have any idea yet?
I have no clue.
This I didn't get but 12 colors because I was being cheap in case I didn't like it. I guess we can go back and forth with them, because I really need these two greens too. And I want one of that orange or that pink. Here, I left you a black, two blues, a red, a pink, and a white.
I'll use pink and blue.
Okay, she's going to use pink and blue. I'm going to tilt this down. Oh, you know how to score, exactly. So if they didn't have the score line, she would still be able to run with it. Let me see if I can tilt this up. Y'all don't look because my belly's sticking out. And get that. That's pretty close to getting it. So it's going to be easier for me if I go ahead and fold it over. I'm going to, what am I going to do first? I'm going to mark where my table's going to be, I guess. And I'm going to put I probably shouldn't have put that up. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm going to put my vase sort of in the middle of the table. Can you see that? As I know I can't really get much closer. Oh, look, I smeared it with my thumb. We're learning here together today. Let's see. We're going to make it kind of round and come up. So my vase is going to be purple. And then I'm going to do tulips because I'm thinking about, you know, springtime and Easter and all that. So I'm just coloring. I'm going to color me in some tulips. Whenever, and I'm thinking about the same, even though I'm not wanting this to look realistic, I'm thinking about stuff I learned in floral school, is you want your flowers to be about the same height as your vase. Sometimes you can do 1.5, but we're going to do that. And then I'm just going to do some loose tulips, and you have the tallest, most important flower, then we'll have another one. What do you need?
Brown.
here, I'm done with it. Almost done with it. I got to go back and fill in a minute. So we'll put a tulip there. These are vaguely resembling tulips here. We're going to remember to do a odd number of them. I have a trivia thing on tulips. Did you know that tulips continue to grow, sort of, after you pick them? If you have a vase full of tulips, like if you get them from the florist or whatever, and you put them in water and you put them like on your bar or whatever, they will reach over wherever they find the sun at, whichever window, and they will continue to grow through the stems toward that light. So you're liable to come home today with all your tulips facing this direction, and then if you turn that around, tomorrow when you come home, they will have turned back around, and they'll sometimes stretch another 4 to 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put 7. So I'm going to put one right here in the middle. I'm just doing 3 kind of humps. Let me put one more. It's hard for me to do anything this small. I'm used to doing things big. And now I'm going to use some green. I have 2 colors of green, a light and a dark. And I'm going to put where my stems would be. And a little bit of, leaves would be. Tulips don't have a whole lot of leaves. They have kind of that long thing that comes out. So we'll put, maybe 3 of those in there, up there, and maybe a couple more down here, and a couple more to the side. And then I'm going to go with the darker green. I'm trying to do this pretty quick, and I'm just going to go kind of right down the middle of where all that was. The other green. I'm just going right in the middle of the other green. And in my mind, my light is going to be coming from this side. So this will be my lighter side of everything, and this will be my darker side of everything, and be a little more shaded. I'm going to put some of the orange in the bottom part of my tulips. What are you doing over there, Candy? Then I'm going to fill in the rest of my tulips a little bit with the...
Because I'm not sure how to do this.
You can't color, woman. You can color.
Well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this paintbrush.
Nothing yet.
Oh.
When it's time for the paintbrush, I will say, "Ooh, let's get our paintbrush." Okay, so now I've got a little bit of orange in with my things. Where's my purple? So now I'm going to think about my vase here. Here's the darker side of my vase. And because my vase is round, I'm going to hold it up a second. Because my vase is round, I'm going to make sort of all of my coloring aspects of it that are in there be curved sort of toward each other. Then we're going to let the light is going to come here. So we're going to be a little bit thicker and a little bit more of it on this side. And up here in the seam and down here in the bottom. We're going to make that dark and make this edge pretty dark. And then sort of leave some space there in the middle. And I need that brown. You can have all of these. And then I need one more color. Give me that light blue maybe. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to be sort of just coloring in what was my table. And the reason I didn't put my sort of horizon line down here where my vase is sitting is because then it would appear that my vase was in the edge of the table and going to tip over. So we're going to just lightly color this in. And you can, if all you have is crayons and you don't have these water soluble ones that I hope are going to do what I think they're going to do here in a minute, then you can leave it like this, because, and then even after we go with the water in a minute, if you want to go back and darken in with the crayon, you can leave that because the texture looks good. Now I'm going to think about the shadow that my vase would be leaving, so I'm going to make it a lot darker underneath it and here to the side of it just a little bit. It's darker in this whole area, but it's really dark right there, see? And then I got to fill in this back with something, so I'm just going to go ahead and go in there with the light blue. I'm just filling in a little bit. So we'll do the same thing here. We're going to fill in this whole right hand side, being as sparse as I can be with my heavy-handed self. And then I'm going to be heavier over here underneath. where there would be some shadow from my flowers. So I'm going to do the heaviest right there. And then a little bit lighter up here toward the top. You about got yours colored in, Candy?
I reckon.
She reckons. Okay, here's where the magic, I hope, is fixing to happen. Please let it happen. Here we are. So here I am. And there ain't nothing wrong with that except for I'm probably going to smear it everywhere. I meant to have some paper towels out here. We've got my ever-present box of t-shirt pieces. I got a little cup of water, and I just grabbed, these are not watercolor brushes, these are my acrylic brushes, just the regular ones that I use, the long and skinny ones. Wet it, but I'm going to knock some of that off so it's not too much. And now I'm going to probably go in the same sort of method that I used. Oh, I love it! Whenever I
Yours is so much prettier than mine.
it's not. Candy's an artist. She
you're
did
not.
such good woodworking stuff in school. So now you just, when you're ready, when you're through coloring, then you just dampen your brush and you just start coloring over your coloring with the brush. Look. See how I tried to leave a little bit of the light right there? I probably I'm just going to color in more to kind of, and I'm remembering to keep that swirl in there on the edges. And go in the directions that it would go.
Paying attention to how to do it.
Oh, you just dampen your brush and then you grab one of them t-shirt pieces if you need it to get the extra water off of there. And then you just start wetting what you colored in the order that you put it down. And I don't know why, but you know, I'm going to do, you can do it any kind of order you want to. Hold it up. Hold it up. Let me see if I can. There she is. Oh, you got a tree with a swing and a bird on the swing. Or is that a fish?
No, it's a bird. It's a plane.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Okay, back down. So just make sure and remember to rinse between colors. Now I'm going to try to see what I can do to my tulips here. I'm going from the bottom up sort of because I got that orange in there. I'm going to do that first and sort of spread that orange up my tulips. If you want orange up your tulips, you would do that too. I love making cards, but sometimes, you know, I don't always have time to sit down and do scrapbooking the way that I want to. And this, I mean, it looks like if you know, 15 minutes time, we'll have 2 cards made and be done for the day if we want. Now I'm coming from the yellow back down toward the orange, trying to thin my tulips out a little bit. This would be a nice little card to give somebody if, you know, if they invite you over for Easter dinner or something like that. Now I'm going to try very carefully because this is a pretty good sized tip on this brush. I'm going to twist it around and see if I can narrow it out a little bit to try to get my greenery. And the same thing, it has the darker and the lighter in there, so I'm going to try to go up first and then I'll come back down. This is a lot of fun. I love projects that you can start and be done with in a short amount of time. And you can put anything on here. We could have done butterflies. We could have done a lady. Okay, now I'm going to do this bottom. My table. And I'm just rubbing that water around it. Let me go around my vase here and keep it at lighter on that side. And I can still see, you know, some of the marks and everything, but I don't mind that it's leaving some white there next to the vase. I always think that looks good to have a little bit of difference, right, to bring attention to things right next to it. I might have could have, for this shadow, put a little dark blue or put a little black in there or something like that. But I didn't. I was trying to play nice with my sharing of my crayons. But when you're, you know, this is another one of those things. You don't have, when you got a crayon that big, you don't have absolute control over everything that's going on. This is not where you're trying to do a fine detailed drawing like you would with an ink pen or something. This is where you're just letting yourself play like a kid and have a good time. I put a little bit of this blue like in these spaces between my leaves and flowers. I'm going to try to, you know, normally it would probably have been smart to grab a smaller brush for that, but that's another good thing about watercolors. You don't have to stress yourself that way. They're going to blend how they want to blend and do what they want to do, and we're supposed to be having a good time with what time we have here, not worrying about it being all perfect. Just spread that water out, and it doesn't matter either if it goes to the very edge or anything. I was thinking about your sister, Teresa. I know Teresa has a sister that likes to make cards. I think she lives up near Chicago. I was thinking she would like to try watercolor cards too. We could like print out anything we wanted to off of the computer onto like some cardstock or something like that, and cut out words and stick on here. We could let it dry and just use a stamper on here if we wanted to put a sentiment on the outside or on the inside. I'm going to leave mine blank so I can put, you know, whatever I want to in there. Trying to get all that lighter area done. I'm going to swirl around a little bit because I'm going to pretend this is the sky. I think I got a little bit of the table up into my sky there, so, but you know, nobody's going to know that but me.
Give me an idea. I'm going to put some sky on mine.
Ah, that's what ideas are for, is sharing. And at the end of this, this is a piece of art. You sign it. You can't put Hallmark on the back, but you sign it just as if it were a painting on a canvas. I wish that wasn't on there.
Tried to
Need
do
some
a
more of
crowd,
that
but
light
it
blue.
didn't show up.
Oh. I'm going to come back because I got a little bit of that up in there, and I wish it didn't. I'm going to try to just cover back over it a little bit, which is good. And then I want to intensify the color over here on this side, so I'm just coloring right back over it. And you can leave it like that to leave the texture, which looks kind of good. I may do that. Or you can go back over it with water. Oh, it fell under through the crack of the two tables.
No, when I needed that color.
I'll crawl under there and get it.
I don't get it.
It's got a little bit of the green in with the blue on this side, and I think I like that. Now I'm just going to have to use a pen to put my name with because that's the way it works. So how about that? Whoops. That's a handmade card. Whoop, 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 whoop. We did that pretty quick. Someone should expect to get this in the mail from me because here's the envelope. We could paint something cute on the envelope if we wanted. Post office may not like that, but we could do it. We could. That's not bad. That was a lot of fun. I'll be hooked on phonics doing this some more. I see Candy making a sky over there. Are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Where's she at? She's there she is.
Drawing as some.
You are. You are. Sometimes I think it's really good just to sit down in the middle of a busy, stressful day and do something fun. And this is easy to pack up. I mean, I'm going to be able to put this whole thing here back into a small tote bag, and I could bring this with me to the park and sit out there and paint a tree or something. It's not that, you know, anything that's takes a, you know, a lot of heavy supplies. You got it? Ooh, I love it. I hope she sends this one to her mother. Look at that. Ooh. You gotta sign it, Candy. Look at that bird. My baby making this. Here's a good pen. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. And if you're interested in any of this stuff, I went and got a link off of Amazon and put it in there for you. And show me a picture of yours when you do yours too. Thanks. Bye.